All right there. Well, things don't seem to be improving or getting any saner as this year or 11 days of it have gone on. But the world of music is looking good. So we are hitting the ground running so far this year. This is the first album review of the year, and we're talking about, everyone's talking about them, but here we go. Frozen Soul with their debut album Crypt of Ice. Now, fairly new band. Where did they? Yeah, they formed in 2018. They're from Texas. Now, Texas have got an awesome metal scene. The real good underground extreme metal. They've got some great death metal bands from there. Obviously, Absu and bands like Hod or Old, however you pronounce it. They seem to have a good thing for sort of blackened death metal as well, I'll notice. But yeah, anything cool and underground. The bands from Texas is normally a good sign because there seems to be a lot of competition from that place. So I don't think bad bands even get a chance to rise. But yeah, Frozen Soul put out their first demo. Does anyone really put out demos anymore? A demo used to be like something that you put on a cassette, you pass around to your mates and promoters. It never got released. And if you did get successful, you'd put it out on some compilation 20 years later. But people seem to be releasing their demos. The demos are just as good as any other recording nowadays. But yeah, so their first demo EP, it came out. It was called Encased in Ice, and it came out on Maggot. What is the matter with me? Yeah, Maggot Stomp. I don't know why. Anyway, Maggot Stomp. Now, they're the people that you need to keep an eye on, because this is out on Century Media. So Century Media have snapped them up. But Maggot Stomp has got. It's where it's happening, basically. It's where it's at the moment in death metal. There's some fantastic bands coming out on it, and they're just putting out demos and EPs so far. I don't know of any full lengths at the moment, but I could be wrong. But yeah, like they've got their ear to the ground. So a band like Coffin Rot, Fluids, Gutless. What's the one I've got? I think it's called Mortal Wound. And there's that band, what are they called? They're really, I can't ever pronounce their name. Sangoz Sugarbog, whatever the fuck they're called. And I was listening to a band earlier today actually called 200 Stab Wounds, who are really good. And apparently they've not even played a gig, or they didn't at the time of Maggot Stomp getting in touch with them. So anyway, Maggot Stomp. If you're not on it, and if you're watching this channel, you probably already are. But yeah, they put out an EP on that, and then Century Media have snapped them up, and here we are. So that out of the way. Frozen Soul. Right. First off, what everyone's saying is the bolt thrower comparison. There's I've seen that they've been nicknamed cold thrower, or what's really made me laugh was snowblower. I thought that was great. Now, there's two ways of looking at this, but I was a little cynical at first. I thought, oh god, when you hear that someone's been compared to a band so much that this happening in a lot of bands lately. I mean, the amount of incantation clones that are out at the moment, and there's a label. I won't say them. I think you'll guess who. But and I'm not slagging them off either. That's why I don't want to mention them, because they do put out some good stuff. But there's an American label where everything they come out is just another incantation thing, and it's just like, and not only that. I mean, there's another band as well. Was it? I want to say Gravedigger, but that's not Gravedigger. It's Gravedigger's a song on this. Is it Gatecreeper? They're all right, I suppose. I've got both their albums, but they're pretty good. But what I'm getting at is, what you normally find is, if a band reminds you of another band, that's good. But is it to the point of where you're going, well, I just fancy listening to that band now, like this isn't offering anything new? And that was what I was worried about, because there's being influenced by a band, and you know, you shouldn't be too harsh on a band on their first album anyway, because every band starts out being a bit of this band mixed with a bit of that band, and we're going to take that band but speed it up, or we're going to do this, and you know, what's important is that they do a solid statement on that debut and then move forward with their own thing. But so with that being said, after I listened to a couple of songs, I watched a couple of videos, and yeah, the more I went on, I was like, yeah, I've got to order this. So I can say with confidence, and I was pleasantly surprised. This wasn't just a bolt thrower clone to the point where it was like, well, I just fancy listening to bolt thrower now. They're clearly influenced by them, but they're just as influenced by someone like Obituary. I suppose there's a bit of incantation in there as well on their sort of slower, dirtier parts, but they are doing their own thing, and it is a fresh approach, and it's a if you know, you'll sit there and you'll be reminded of Bolt Thrower, but in a refreshing new take kind of way. And yeah, there's nothing, you know, distasteful about it. It's not just ripping them off. I don't think. I think they're doing their own thing. So obviously that's about as far as the Bolt Thrower goes. It's just musically, and you know, I'm fucking waffling now. But obviously with Bolt Thrower, the main thing was war and battle and, you know, the rest of it. And but this is the main theme is winter and ice. So I don't know if it's thinking about just like, you know, the eternal winter, you know, the other side of the white wall in Game of Thrones, I suppose, for example. But what a fantastic album cover! That is absolutely brilliant. I love the that little bit of blood there, just to give it that extra thing. But the camera's not picking it up very well. But yeah, have a look into it yourself, and I might even on payday treat myself to a t-shirt of that, because that's what I need, isn't it? Another fucking t-shirt. But anyway, so let's get into the thing. I mean, it's if I go through track by track, I'm just going to be repeating myself over and over. But what you've got here is 10. I think it clocks in just under 40 minutes. I think it's about 35 minutes, I believe. But you've got 10 very solid, very good, well-structured songs, and well-structured songs, shall I say. And nothing outstays its welcome. Nothing's too long or thingy. It just gets straight into it. There's no song that hits the 5-minute mark. Now, every track, as much as this album does flow nicely, and it goes, the 10 tracks, you know, it's an effortless listen. Every track is its own individual piece. So this, I think these songs could have been on in any order, really. And playing it live as well, I think it could happen. You could do it in every song has its own little introduction, its own little build-up, and everything cuts off nicely. So there's no sort of leading one track into the other. Each track is its own nice little piece. One little nice touch is that every track has its own little intro. Now it's not like it has, you know, like an interlude in between every song or everything like that. But everything, it's just like 5 seconds as well, or definitely no longer than 10 seconds. And it's just like this nice, well, no, it's not nice. It's like a atmospheric sort of ambient little lead up before the guitars just kick in. I think it's the third track, Hand of Vengeance, even has a nice little bit of piano before it kicks in. But yeah, there'll be like a blowing of a wind, or just like a, you know. And that intro never outstays its welcome. It's never its own individual track. Like when you say you've got 10 songs here, that you've got 10 full songs, no intro track, nothing like that. But even that is a nice little element, and you can kind of see they could expand on that. I'll get back to that later though. Every track though is just nicely balanced. You've got fast parts, none of it's blast beaty or anything like that. It is quite old school in that way, really. But I think that's a good thing. I mean, you don't have to be, you know, you know, techie and thingy. Not everyone has to be doing that, but I can imagine when played live, you're going to get a lot of groove, a lot of movement, and as well as head banging, a good little pit. Rather than, I want to bring to mind, I was listening to an interview with Phil from Malevolent Creation. It was sound like when Malevolent Creation and Bolt Thrower toured together, and I think it was Necrophagist. But one of those technical bands. And the guy was saying, like, when you two are on stage, the crowd goes mental, but while we're playing, everyone's just sort of standing there. And he went, yeah, because you've got no hooks. You need to have a song for people to react to. And that this band have got that, you know, like everything is perfectly paced. So for every fast bit, there'll be a nice slow, dirgy bit in the middle as well, and everything's nicely built up. All the riffs are fantastic. The drummer is great as well. He's perfectly paced. He knows when to fucking go for it, and he knows when to back off and just let things breathe. The vocalists as well, Chad Green. Again, the Bolt Thrower comparison's there, but I think he's got like his own vocal approach. He's got like a real sort of dark, sinister vocal. He's kind of barking the word. No, it's weird. He's not doing like a typical death metal growl. It's like a death metal spoken word, really. Like the you can hear the lyrics, and it's like he's telling a story and sort of describing being encased in ice and dying. And I don't know, I've not looked into the lyrics that much. Maybe you're just frozen in ice and you're conscious the whole time for eternity or something fucked up like that. But yeah, but overall, this is, I don't want to say old school, this is just classic, timeless, good death metal. I'll start summing up now because I'm waffling, but just think of it like this. Take like a classic pie or a pizza or whatever your favourite dish is, and you've gone to a restaurant, or you've got a thing and you've had this, whatever is your favourite thing. They've not done anything different to the recipe, they've just executed the recipe perfectly. So when you have like a steak and ale pie or a pepperoni pizza, and you're like, that's the best pizza I've ever had, or that's the best pie I've ever had, the person who's cooked it hasn't necessarily revolutionised the recipe, he's just executed the recipe perfectly, but he's just added really, really good ingredients. And that's what this is. It's a classic recipe with the best ingredients, the best riffs, the best song structures, the best timing of the vocals, the best drums, and just, yeah, that's it. It's just 10 really, really good, well-crafted songs. It's just, yeah, a classic recipe. So yeah, I'm using food analogy. You can tell I'm on a diet. It's January. So I'll give you a look. It's a really nice presented digipack. The band photo there, and yeah, so you get the. And I would say, I mean, is there any criticisms? Not really. I mean, what do you want? You wanted a. You put it this way, you know, if you are looking for a new Obituary album or a new Bolt Thrower album, this is going to be. I'd sooner put this on than the new Memoriam album. Put it that way, you know. There's nothing wrong with taking the gauntlet and running with it, you know. There's, going forward, I mean, I would say, you know, the comparisons to other bands, it's nice and it gets you through your first album, but maybe your second and third album, maybe develop things a bit more and get more of the Frozen soul sound, you know. Certain things, like those little ambient things, maybe expand on them a bit more, or certain little elements of the sound, maybe just expand a bit more going forward, but that's alright, nothing wrong with that. That's just, that'll probably happen naturally. And talking about second and third albums, I bet at the moment the band would just be happy to be doing a fucking gig. So let's not get too thing, but yeah, really, really good album, really good, strong debut, a good statement of intent, and yeah, I think this is something. There's something special about this band. They've got something going on. They've got their own unique that's the thing as well. I was listening to a interview with a singer as well, and he's saying that they've got this whole stage aesthetic set up where it is like a Frozen. They've got like snow machines and stuff like that. So you can just imagine they've got a cool video as well where it's in like they've got like the whole Hellraiser thing going on. So you can imagine with a tour with a decent setup, they can put up like a really cool thing to look at. So you can imagine like some nice intro track for them to come out to, be all silent, and yeah, there's loads of stuff they can do with it. So this is really exciting. So yeah, I'd give this a really good, solid 8 out of 10. What a good way to start the year. Really good album, really good band. Yeah, good luck to them. And yeah, when the touring does kick off again, they could play with anyone. I reckon they could definitely hold their own with the greats as a really good, you know, piece to a good package tour, a good support band. So yeah, it's looking good. Frozen Soul, believe the hype. Check them out. See you all soon. Thanks again for watching. Take care, guys. All the best, mate. Bye.